would you like to know how to ask rich people for money in a way where they feel completely crazy for telling you no? Would that be advantageous to you? I want to tell you this. If you're easily triggered, today's episode is not for you. We're going to use a real life clip that somebody sent me. They sent me this. I didn't ask them for it. And we're going to dissect the clip by the numbers. And the value proposition here is for it to be a learning moment, a coachable moment. But you guys might not like what I say about it, or you guys might like what I say about it. You guys might not like what the person says in the clip. You might love what they say. So this is never designed to try to make me a bad guy or even make the other person a bad person either. This is just what I think a very coachable moment. So that being said, you have your opportunity to leave now. But for those of y'all that decide to stay, we're going to break this down by the numbers. First, I'm going to say nothing. I'm just going to play the clip all the way through. And then the first time, at least, we'll play it all the way through just so you can soak it in. And then we'll talk about it and probably play it again slower by the numbers. All right. Let me pull it up on the screen. Here we go.
Hi, JT. Thank you so much for taking a moment to listen to this. I'm going to look to make it as brief as possible, so please listen to it in its entirety. First of all, I so appreciate you. I've watched you for a while now. I thank you for all of the content that you bring forth. I have been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. I'm 51 now, and I've decided that what I realize in my life is that I have not because I ask not. And so often I'm looking for support to reach out, but I'm not actually asking for what I want. So this is a moment for me to ask you for support in an untraditional way. My car was just repossessed. I'm in a huge bind. I can no longer operate the way that I've been operating. And I was at a crossroads recently to I have to go get a job. I have to go get this job. I don't want a job. And I finally got clear spiritually that I am not getting a job. I'm not doing that. It would just break my whole soul. So I am committed to my business by way of one of the ways that you can that you offer that you may be able to support. So my request is, if you would invest via like an equity business. So I know that you have coaching platforms and ways and programs. So if instead of me paying for that, you would actually allow me to go through it and then take a percentage from my profits as I learn and I grow and I earned. You earn as I earn. And in this moment, I'm asking for an urgent loan of some sort. I don't know. I just am asking because I have nothing else to lose. So being that I am from your home state, I gravitated towards you. And I'm just being vulnerable. So in whatever way that you can. Yeah, and that's it. And I'm just going to leave it right there. So if this appeals to you, if there's any way that we can figure out some kind of way of it being a win-win, that will be awesome. One of the services that I offer is body work. And so I love supporting those who support the masses. And you are one of those people. So you have been on my list of people that I want to give that service to. So it can be an exchange of that. I don't know. You just let me know how it can be a win-win, and if you can support me urgently through this part of my life, that would be amazing. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you, and I always trust that things happen in divine order. So however this lands is how it lands, and I'm grateful for whichever way it lands. May you be having a wonderful AM. Peace. Thank you.
All right, you guys. So, first and foremost, let's take a minute and think about how did that make you feel. What I would admittedly say is that if you are somebody of a certain emotional state or a certain emotional level, that might have pulled at your heartstrings a little bit. And I am not a heartless person. I sincerely do empathize with the lady. For anybody that doesn't know, I've been broken homeless before. Back in 2017, I lived on the side of Interstate 95. If you're not familiar with the East Coast, that runs pretty much the entire East Coast. So I can empathize with having a car repossessed. My car was repossessed. I never was evicted before. It just worked out, honestly, by the grace of God that my lease came up. Otherwise, I probably would have faced, that hardship as well. So I am not somebody that has never fell on hard times. I'm not somebody that's immune to hard times occasionally now either. So I want you all to 100% understand that I do have a heart first and foremost, because I don't want to just get straight into the dissecting of the clip. However, this is a financial literacy platform. I am a financial literacy content creator. I have never, solicited or put myself out there as the get a loan guy. I don't own a nonprofit organization or anything like that. What I do is I try to document what I do in real life, entrepreneurially speaking, for those people that it can help. I bring my friends on that do other businesses that I may not do. And the whole purpose of my content is to help people reach their financial goals faster than I did and without going through the same mistakes that I went through as well. And as I learn more, I share more. So the problem, if there is a problem, for lack of better words, and blame it on my head, not my heart, if I don't use all the perfect words during this broadcast, because super respect to the lady. Nothing that I've said prior to this point or even after this point do I want anybody to ever misconstrue as me not being empathetic with the lady. However, what I want to do is take this clip and share it with the world, knowing controversially there's going to be somebody out there that's going to say, you should have never shared this clip, JT. Somebody else, or maybe even that same individual, may say, you should have just helped her, JT. You know what it was like to struggle. Now you're doing fairly well in business. And I would like to attack that or address that head on, because I'm a 100% an entrepreneur and I don't mind having tough conversations. That's part of my job description. So, first, let's dissect it for the person that may say, you should have never shared this. Well, understand this. If people that have the right answer continue to not share the right answer with those that need the right answer, then the problem will never be solved. So, this was not a sharing this to air it out. We're not going to share the lady's contact information or anything like that, because we're not trying to embarrass anybody or anything like that. This is just a teachable moment, a coachable moment, as somebody that has been on hard times, talking to people that may have been on hard times in the past. Maybe you're going on hard times when you're listening to this. Maybe you'll go through hard times in the future. That's all it is. So, as somebody that's in the space where there are a lot of people that will have opinions about what you should or should not do, but they'll never come out and publicly help anybody do anything, especially the masses, like I've decided to do for many years now. So I don't agree with people that can help people choosing not to help people for any reason, right? You know what I mean? Just to leave it broad at this point. Now, I do reserve the right to change my mind, as do you, as well. But at this point in my life, I feel like if there's an opportunity where I can give you the right answer, then I'm going to give you the right answer. All right. So that is what I have to say to the people that say you shouldn't have shared the clip. And like I mentioned earlier, go ahead and leave the podcast now. This episode is not for you. All right. I am choosing to not help this lady financially speaking. right? I'm not giving her a loan. I'm not giving her a car either, right? So for the people out there that say, well, JT, you got it. Why don't you help her? I'm not Oprah. I'm not Mr. Beast. I'm not whoever has made a name for themselves giving out large sums of money and prizes. Understand that I'm a business owner that has employees, contractors, business partners, and a family that I'm responsible for. And I have to consider all of that into consideration, regardless of what my financial position is, prior to doing any type of things like this, right? So it's not a thing that I took lightly, right? It's just they went about it the wrong way, and because they went about it the wrong way, I wanted to share it with you all and tell you guys the right way to go about this. Right. So that is what I would have to say to the people that say, why don't you help her? If I had it, I would have did it. Well, guess what? You'll probably never have it. Right. You'll never have $10,000 because as soon as you get $5,000, you give it all away or you invest it frivolously or you just don't know what to do with money. So you'll never get to 10,000, right? Some of y'all will never get to 100,000 because when you get to 75,000, you going to say, okay, you know what? It's time to do this. It's time to do that. Right. So understand respectfully, not even coming at anybody any kind of way. Respectfully, if you ain't been on this level, if you're not currently on a 7-figure or higher per year level, what you would or would not do is none of my business. You don't have to share that with me at all. Let's just keep it a bean, right? Now you can share it with your cousins, your family members, your friends, somebody else that will entertain or appreciate your viewpoint, but it ain't me, right? This big dog talking now, right? So let's just be real. All right. Hey, you got to know your place and just big dog talk respectfully. All right. I don't really care, right? I don't really care how you feel about it. But I had to address the naysayers. I had to address the negativity because it's inevitable. And even though I addressed it, somebody will have a rebuttal so they can talk about it in the barbershop or do whatever it is they want to do with it. But we going to replay the clip. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to pause it. I'm going to dissect it. And I'm going to tell you what was wrong with this clip, right? Because you have to understand that, and I teach this on my main channel and in my mentorship as well, is that you have to become the right person. The only difference between financially speaking, this version of you and the financially free version of yourself are the ideas that you have. Those ideas, those beliefs, as we refer to them, that you have, they dictate your actions. Whatever actions you can consistently do or you adopt to consistently do, we then refer to those actions as habits or as your routine. You might hear people talk about it in terms like that. Your habits and routine will dictate your life. So if we can't change your ideas, your beliefs, then we can never change your actions, right? If you don't consistently do better actions, you'll never develop the routine or the habit to reach your financial goals. All right. So let me tell you by the numbers. Let me start this clip back over and we're going to dissect it together. All right. Let me pull it up on the screen for all of my visual viewers, right? That's not it. All right. All right. So let's get it.
Hi, JT. Thank you so much for taking a moment to listen to this. I'm going to look to make it as brief as possible, so please listen to it in its entirety.
Okay. 10 seconds in, she didn't hook me in. She doesn't lead with value. All she said is, hey, I'm going to try to be brief. Listen to this whole thing. It's like a 4-minute clip. Now, she didn't give me any reason why I should care who she is and why I should listen to the clip. So I want to tell you first and foremost, as we get into the sauce, a lot of people are going to click off of it. Most people that I know that are in my position or better will be like, I never met this person in my life, which I haven't, right? Never spoke to him, never seen him, know nothing, didn't even know this person existed on earth prior to receiving this message. And the first thing you tell me is listen to this whole thing. hey, listen to what I got to tell you in its entirety. Now, that may not have been her intent, but again, I'm sharing this with you to understand you have, or many of you all may not have had the privilege of being around high achievers, high performers, financially speaking. So even though you may say, "Well, I didn't take it that way," I'm not here to debate whether you're right or wrong, because I've also talked about this prior to this episode with several of my highly successful, financially speaking, friends. And I said, you know what? I just want to play a clip. It's like 4 minutes. I don't want to give any context or commentary on it because this is how it was sent to me. So I want to play it for you the same way it was sent for me to play, and just tell me any thoughts you have. Don't worry whether it's great, good, or bad. I just want to know what you think about it. And all of the feedback without any context, just playing this clip to several high achievers, financially speaking, is way worse than what I'm going to share in this podcast, just out of respect to this person that hopefully one day will hear it, or maybe somebody that has done this in the past, somebody that was planning on doing this, somebody that just might need to know how to do this in the future. All right. So if anything I say or have said is heavy, listen, I'm trying to think and be conscious and be as soft about this issue as possible. But understand it's raw, right? The people that, if you're sending this to a qualified person, is raw, right? So the first thing is they didn't hook me early on, they didn't lead with value. How that is going to be interpreted may be different than how she intended it or how she said it. But the general consensus, myself included, was, hey, listen to what I got to say in its entirety. You giving me no reason to. High achievers, financially speaking, value their time above all else, above money. Give me enough time, I could go figure out, I could learn something new, I could create another opportunity or identify one, and I could make more money, but my time, I'll never get a moment back. So when you say, hey, give me your most valuable asset just cuz, that's disrespectful to high achievers. If anybody didn't know, now you know. Let's keep it going.
First of all, I so appreciate you. I've watched you for a while now. I thank you for all of the content that you bring forth. Um,
Sound like she's trying to butter my biscuit. Again, I still don't know who this is. Just telling you guys the mindset.
I have been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. I'm
Remember that. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. We'll talk more about that here in a second.
51 now, and
51
I
years old.
decided that what I realized in my life is that I have not because I ask not. And
That's a biblical reference, right? Not a direct quote, but biblical reference from scripture. Uh that's important because I'm unapologetically a believer. Credit all of my success to God. I'm transparent about that. So hearing her say that lets me know that she may know that about me. It's not confirmed yet, but that is my belief so far, just hearing that statement.
And so often I'm looking for support to reach out, but I'm not actually asking for what I want. So this is a moment for me to ask you for support in an untraditional way.
Okay, she still hasn't given me any reason why I should care who you are, what you have to say, or even be listening this long, right? Um, so before you led with any value, before you had any hook to gravitate or pull me in, um, you pretty much say, hey, I feel like I don't got what I want because I don't ask about it. You frame it nice, as you know, in reference to Bible scripture, all right? And then you say, okay, so this is me asking for something. That's still right. That's still just, if there was a disrespect meter, the disrespect meter is now starting to move up because I don't know who you are. You haven't led with value. The disrespect meter first ticked up when you asked for my most valuable asset, which is my time, without giving me any reason to give it to you. And then it went up again when you said, okay, this me asking for something. So the disrespect meter is now ticking. A lot of people, especially you don't know this person from anybody, never met them, don't know anything about them, and they would have ended it right here. But again, for educational purposes, we're gonna continue to dissect this whole thing so that way you can learn what not to do. So that way, ultimately, the goal is I want you to leave here knowing how can you ask rich people for money in a way they feel stupid saying no. But let's keep it going.
I my car was just repossessed. I'm in a huge bind. I
Okay, let me tell you what that means to a successful entrepreneur. She has now framed herself as a failure. She has framed herself as a entrepreneurial failure. Now that's not a bad thing. We all fail at things in life. I fail at things in life. I'm nowhere near a perfect human being. So that is not a knock, but for you to still up until this point not shared any value, not giving me a reason to give you my most valuable asset, which is my time, ask me for something. So now you got my disrespect meter almost halfway up, if not more. All right. And then you let me know you've been a business owner, you've been an entrepreneur, maybe not in the same business, maybe it's multiple businesses, I don't know, but you've been in the entrepreneurial realm for 20 years and you still never figured it out. Guess what that tells me? It's probably not what you're doing, it's who you are. It's probably not what you're doing, it's who you are. Because in 20 years, you had time to either figure it out yourself through the school of hard knocks, through a lot of trial and error and investing in things and figuring it out, or you had enough time to get the money to pay a coach, a mentor, a consultant, somebody that's highly successful, somebody that's credible that you can verify they the real deal and pay them. You had 20 years, you could have paid somebody anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s by now. So that tells me that you're not somebody that values knowledge because you could have learned it through the school of hard knocks and you could have learned it by paying a mentor well, well within 20 years. You could have done that your first year in business. And I don't care what age you are, I got mentors that are senior citizens and they pay for mentorship early on. It wasn't all of this social media, you could reach them stuff. It was word of mouth, advertising, and they had radio and newspaper back then as well. And then you had to come in person with cash or a check. And one of my good mentors was paying like $150 an hour to get mentored. This was 40 plus some odd years ago. All right. And he had to show up with either cash money or a check, right? And because the person valued their time so much, it couldn't been just a standard check. They want a cashier's check. Hey, you gonna be here for an hour, bring $150 cashier's check. You want 2 hours, bring 300 cashier's check. All right. So there's no excuse. This person has framed themselves as a failure, right? She's asking me for something without giving me any reason to say yes. She quoted a scripture without the proper context of the scripture, right? So that was a low effort attempt to appeal to my Christianity. All right. And just because I'm Christian doesn't mean that I'm responsible financially for everybody on earth, especially people I don't know. All right. Um, Let me see what else. That we'll keep it going. That in and of itself, though, that now makes this lady, which I don't think it was her intention to, but I'm gonna just be real. My thoughts initially, and by sharing this the same way it was presented to me, to the people in my circle, now you're manipulative. Now you're a manipulative person that doesn't value your time, which is why it's been 20 years, you still haven't figured out entrepreneurship. You don't value my time, which is why without giving me a reason to give you my time, you say, hey, just give me however long it takes for me to get this out, right? So now the disrespect meter is up even higher, and we're 1 minute in. For anybody that is not watching this on a visual platform, the crazy sauce is all of this is within the first minute of her talking, right? This was sent to me via text as an audio message. No framing, right? I think I also might have got an Instagram account. So it was like an Instagram link, no context as to why in the world I should click on this random Instagram link, and an audio message. Boom, right? And I'll double check the account later to see maybe they followed it up with words since they haven't had a response. I received this roughly 24 hours ago from the time that I'm recording this podcast episode. All right. But all of this, like the answer is no. I don't even know what exactly she needs yet. If this was my first time hearing it, the answer is already no a minute in it.
Can no longer operate the way that I've been operating. And I was at a crossroads recently to like, I have to go get a job. I have to go get this job. I don't want a job. And I finally got clear spiritually that I am not getting a job. I'm not.
Okay, that may be true. I can't speak to somebody's spirituality at this time. Like I just don't know. Um but she said she felt like she should have gotten a job, but she's saying that she can't get a job. So spiritually, she came to the conclusion that she can't. Okay, cool. But there's whatever told you you can't get a job, what did that tell you towards finding a way to solve this problem independently, entrepreneurially, without getting that job? Like, there's a gap there. Maybe she knows it. Sending me this message wasn't it, but there's a gap there.
Doing that. It would just break my whole soul.
Don't play with your soul. Don't play with your soul. You say it'll break your whole soul to get a job. You can't play with your soul around people that grew up in the South in church and mama and grandma keep you in there. You can't play with God like that. You can't play with your soul like that. So if you say something gonna break your soul, the people that really love them, man, you gotta stand on business. You gotta really mean, hey, I can't get a job. It'll break my soul. I gotta hustle. I gotta get back to it. I gotta find a legitimate, ethical, moral way to add value to people in the marketplace so that way I can take care of myself and others. But I can't get a job if it'll break my soul. Come on.
So I am committed to my business by way of one of the ways that you can that you offer.
Hold on. So now she about to lie on me, I believe. You're committed to your business. Your business. You're committed to your business by a way that I offer. What does that even mean? Right? You're committed. You personally, individual that sent me random message. You're committed to your business. You've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. All right. You got your car repossessed. Spiritually, you can't get a job. It'll break your soul. You're committed to your business by a way that I offer. Let's see.
That you may be able to support. So my request is, if I'm able to, if you would invest via like an equity.
You just asked me to invest in a equity, which I'll let her elaborate on it more. Pretty much, you want me to give you X amount of dollars, not sure how much money yet. But you want me to give you X amount of dollars in exchange for ownership in your business. You've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. You failed at it for 2 decades. Your car got repossessed. You said, give you money for a piece of trash, in the words of Bubba Dub, right? You just offered me a piece of your mess, of your failing business, something that you've been possibly doing for 2 decades. If not that, you have been in the realm of entrepreneurship by your own account for 2 decades. So you still could have learned some universal truths in other businesses that applied here that still would have prevented you from being in this situation. But you instead come offer me, never mind how hard I worked to get to this point. Never mind what I had to do, what I am having to do, what I will be called to do in the future to maintain and better this situation. Don't know, don't care, JT. We don't know about the living off of 3 hours of sleep a night while you're managing an independent courier business to pay the bills, trying to figure out online e-commerce and trying to figure out social media. This was before anybody knew I existed outside of my immediate family members and friends. So never mind all of that. You got a baby on the way and you got to sleep on the side of Interstate 95 because you don't got no family members and friends that you can go to when times are really like that. While you try to rebuild a business that I take 100% responsibility for. I scaled from $500 a week to $2,000 to $3,000 a week in 30 days. I scaled that business up. I grew too fast because what I didn't know eventually came and bit me in the behind. That's why I'm so passionate about entrepreneurship. That's why I'm so passionate about helping others. But when it came down, right? And let's keep it a buck. It's my fault because in entrepreneurship, everything is your fault. But this is something that an employee of mine did. An employee that was not with me at the time, not around me, they disobeyed company policy outside of my presence. And that led to a snowball that ended up landing at my feet and then running me over because I hired them. So it's your fault. Yeah, you can try to say, well, I didn't do it. I told them not to do it. Look at these policies we have in place. I trained them. I could show proof that I trained them, right? You know what I mean? Like this person knows better, but it's your business though. So we ain't want to hear none of that. It's your business. You hired them. You trained them. You made the decision that this person can now work with limited to no supervision and they messed up, but it's on you. That's what I went through. And now I'm broken, homeless, and the person that actually did the act, they went back to their parents' house. Shortly thereafter, ended up getting a job, right? Getting themselves back together financially speaking. I'm on the side of the Interstate 95 trying to figure it out. I got a baby on the way at this time, right? And you know what? I still consider that person to this day not at fault because I was the business owner. I should have known better. I didn't know any better. I didn't know how could I control a grown person that I hired, I trained, I monitored closely. I'm just now trying to give them some more freedom. They mess up. They do something stupid. And they walk away scot-free because they did something in the name of such and such business. So they personally, they ain't responsible. That ain't their MC number, DOT number, anything like that tied to that piece of equipment, right? And let's keep it a bean. I'll tell you guys real quick what they did. All right, they passed a weigh station. They should have stopped and got weighed. They were way underweight. This person was somebody that was addicted to, I later found out, addicted to dating apps, had a fish on the line. I'll just leave it like that. So they was trying to get done with work that day as fast as possible. And they saw the line at the weigh station being long. They was like, man, bump that. I could just ride past. DOT officer pulls them over, right? Because you should have stopped. The person is smoking weed, right? So of course, now you got to get out of the vehicle. I didn't have a child at this time. I didn't know. Now, when I hired the person, of course, we went through all of the checks, drug tests, driving record, all of that good stuff. They passed. No issues. This was months later. What I did not know, but I should have known, apparently, because I was the business owner, that if you don't pay child support, it's possible to get your license suspended. So that happened to this person after I had verified their license was in good standing. It later got suspended and I didn't know. I didn't know the status of their license has changed. So you got pulled over for passing the weigh station. You got charged with possession of marijuana and you got no driver's license at all. Not no CDL, just no driver's license, period. Not that it's in good standing. All right. And now all of that comes down on me as a business owner. But I was so great at networking, right? Just early on that I was able to negotiate the 3PL. Check out how crazy this sounds. I was so great at negotiating and delivering on my promises. The 3PL themselves gave me routes and was like, listen, we'll even temporarily rent you a truck, but you got to get your own truck in this amount of time. I had a 10-foot box truck, I had a cargo van. The freight was starting to get so big, and I was so dependable and so efficient. I just didn't have a big enough truck that the regional manager was like, you know what, I'll make the call. Stuck his neck out there doing a little country boy a favor while he was in Maryland. And when it came down, since everything related to the truck was in the name of a multi-million-dollar company, 9 figures, not quite a billion, but hundreds of millions of dollars company, oh, they threw the book at them. Oh, and you can run that number and see who, right? So they don't even know that this person don't work directly for that company. This person is a sub of a sub, pretty much, right? Man, they threw the book at that company because their name was on the vehicle that had all of this happen with this knucklehead when they ran the numbers. So of course, poop rolls downhill is what they taught us in the military. Why am I sharing all of this? Is because this led me to being broke and homeless, sleeping on the side of Interstate 95, trying to figure out how in the world can I rebuild my life, rebuild my business. And I too chose not to get a job, but I never called anybody. But if I would have called somebody, it wouldn't have been like this. Let's keep this going though.
business. So I know that you have coaching platforms and ways and programs. So if instead of me paying for that, you would actually allow me to go through it and then take a percentage from my profits as I learn and I grow and I earned.
Okay, so I hear that a lot. So as of this recording, I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. I've been on the internet talking about entrepreneurship for 7 years. That 3 year gap is me learning business, going broke and homeless, rebuilding it back up. I actually took some time to learn business before I actually came on here, try to tell anybody else anything, because why else should you listen to me or anybody else if they haven't done it before or actively doing it, right? Whatever the case may be. um so a culmination of what took me a decade and just under $1 million um to acquire via trial and error, via mentorship, via employing people, via softwares, via everything, not even counting the time value or the value of my time. I'm talking about in liquid cash, just under $1 million was spent on hiring people, buying equipment, software, paying mentors, tens of thousands of dollars, 30,000 of this one, 15,000 of that one, 25,000 of that one, right? Borrowing money just to try to do the business and then paying it off, which is why I'm mostly anti-debt now and believe in owning your assets debt free like I do now. That's a whole nother podcast episode. But you asked me for a decade of my life and just under $1 million that I invested personally to get this information. Now, because I know not everybody can spend just under $1 million in a decade to learn it, what a more than fair price for this program is as of this recording, and prices will go up because I'm getting better, and as I get better, my programs get better. But she could have got it for $5,000. Transparent with the price, 5 bands. So you can look at it as she asked me to give her something that's I charge $5,000 for free, or you can look at it as she asked for 10 years of my life and just under $1 million for free. Of course, the $5,000 thing don't sound as bad. Here's what I'll ask you. If I asked you for 10 years of your life and all of the success, what price tag would you charge me? For me today to get access to 10 years of your success, avoid your mistakes, just have your wins in the most efficient way to do it. What is that worth? Well, I guess it depends on how successful you are. If you haven't become, that successful of a person, it's probably not worth much of anything. But if you made millions, if you've helped other people make millions and hundreds of thousands and honestly hundreds as well too, right? Not everybody is that committed, but it is what it is. But what would that be worth to you? All right, fair market value. Not saying it has to be what you paid, not saying it has to be free. What's just fair? Emotion to the side, right? Because this is not emotion talking, this logic. Emotions out of it, what's just fair? The fair price is more than what I'm charged. But okay, the first thing is now she made an ask. Let's say on the low end it's a 5K ask. Just to go with the naysayers. She really asked for more than that, but she asked for $5,000. If you haven't caught it yet, we still don't even know who this lady's name is. Like my editor didn't even edit out a name. There was no name, right? Now I know the lady's name because like I said, she sent an Instagram link. And after watching this, I clicked on the Instagram link briefly. I don't even know your name. Let that sink in. Never met you before in life. Don't know if you're lying or telling the truth. Don't know if you're trying to scam me. Don't know if you are a scammer. Like, just to date this, I got this message on December the 18th. I'm recording this podcast on December the 19th. No consideration for Christmas for my family, friends, whoever I may be doing Christmas for. Like, the disrespect meter. Hey, to my editor, we need a disrespect meter that we can use in these podcast episodes. If I have to get one created like by a graphic designer or something, we could, but if you can make one, the disrespect meter.
You earn as I earn.
Okay, I almost forgot about that part. Here's why highly successful people tend not to do this. If you have nothing invested, you lose nothing if you quit. Now you're going to have to do work, and essentially you're working for free because you're saying you give me everything you can give me. I'm going to give labor, but whenever I get tired or whenever I feel like for this labor, I'm not seeing what I wanted to see in the amount of time that I wanted to see it, you could just immediately stop the labor, right? If I'm giving you intellectual property, I can't take what's out of your head. If I gave you physical resources, depending on what they are, I may or may not be able to take those back, right? If I gave you contacts, if I gave you whatever, right? So not everything can be tangibly revoked if we decide to leave or part ways amicably as friends. All right. So you're willing to just bring labor. Well, guess what? I can get free labor. Most people expect to get paid every 2 weeks. Most people have no way and don't even think about verifying how much money their employer has when they take the job. So in theory, right, I could hire you today to sell flowers. Let's just pick a simple business. I want you to sell flowers outside of the stadium we got downtown, right? So when couples come, they got some restaurants downtown. Maybe somebody's gonna do a date night and go to a game, whatever it is. You just gonna post up outside. You gonna just sell fresh, beautiful flowers, right? I'm gonna pay you every 2 weeks. When people buy flowers, I get paid every day. Every day they buy flowers. Money comes into the business. So for easy math, let's say that you sell $100 worth of flowers a day, and you say that you're willing to work part-time for me for $300 a week, right? Let's say that on any given week, we'll make at least $500. As a business, I got to give you $300, right? Because this is not skilled labor. I can get any kid to do it, high school kid, college kid, somebody that's just on hard times and just needs a few extra bucks. All right. Anybody can stand outside of the stadium, sell some flowers, right? Now I can make it nice. I can invest in a fancy cart and have music playing and get this person a certain outfit and that would attract people to them. And you can work for me for free for 2 weeks. Or even if I pay you every week, $300, right? All right. Now, of course, I could tweak the numbers. I can make the cart nicer. I can add more things. So it's not just flowers. It might be flowers and candy and whatever else, right? Stuffed animals. So now you might go from making 100 a day to 500 a day. Well, guess what? You don't get a raise. You still get paid whatever you were getting paid. And guess what? I can do that with anybody, right? With anybody. So why you? You never told me your name. You never led with any value. Why you? Not to be heartless, but I am shedding light on the mindset of who's on the receiving end of your petition, so that way you can know whether you intended it to be like this or not. What did they hear?
In this moment, I'm asking for an urgent loan of some sort.
Mm. Not only did you ask for access to the program at whatever you valued it at, then you asked for a urgent. It's not urgent to me, but you're trying to now create urgency without establishing why it's valuable for me to acknowledge or do anything about your urgent need. Let's see how much she asked for.
I don't know. I just am asking
Hold
because
on.
I'm asking for an urgent loan of some sort. I don't know. I just am asking because I have nothing else to lose. So
I didn't even hear an amount. The unmitigated gall. You you ask pretty much what the most money you give me your best information on becoming a successful entrepreneur and as much money on top of the program that's gonna show me how to make money, as much liquid capital as you can give me. The unmitigated gall. Respectfully, ladies, please walk away. Please fast forward the podcast starting now for at least about 30 seconds. The balls of this woman, right? Come on, fellas. For her to ask that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
uh being that I am from your home state, I
Listen, that that means nothing. California is a huge state. Texas is a huge state. The Carolinas, South and North Carolina, I'm from both. Right? Went to school at both, own real estate free and clear in both. Just because you from the same state as somebody don't mean nothing at all. At all. Lady, when I was born, you were a senior in high school. Depending on how you was living, you could have been my mama. All right? Respectfully, I don't mean it no disrespectful way, but I'm just saying I went to school with people that had kids senior in high school. So, like, lady, you could have had me senior year, like, but you didn't. You know what I mean? That would have been different if you was my mom. But we ain't got no connection, is what I'm saying. Well, yeah, we from the same state, but you probably was out of the state before I knew what state I was in. You know, as a newborn baby, you don't know what's going on. You probably were out of the state before I even knew I was in the state. Like, before I had that cognizance, I think the word is, before I had the wherewithal to even know that.
gravitated towards you,
That is
and
that's crazy. This
I'm just
lady,
asking
now I think the lady is crazy.
for I'm just being vulnerable. So in whatever way that you can. Um
You being something.
yeah. And that's it. And I'm just going to leave it right there. So if this
Disrespectful,
appeals to you, if there's any way
waste
that
of
we can
time.
figure out some kind of way of
Now you putting the burden on me to figure out, why do I gotta figure out?
it being a win-win, that will be awesome.
That's what I thought. Why do I gotta figure out why helping you benefits me? Why do I have to figure out why helping you benefits me and then help you by giving you as much liquid capital as I can, as much cash money as I can, and all of my best information for free? And hopefully you do something with it. And hopefully, not only do I get my money back from the loan, but I also get some money back from the intellectual property that I share. But you got a 20-year track record of being a failing entrepreneur. So the risk is so crazy that you won't even do anything. I never heard of a plan. So if somebody just gives you money and you don't have a plan, I guess you're saying my blueprint will be your plan. So I got to give you the plan too, and the money. And
One of the services that I offer is a body work.
I don't even know what body work is. Now I feel like you being funny and disrespectful because it's body work a BBL. Like what is body work? Is that when they put the suction cups on your back or the needles in your back? That could be liposuction. Lady, you could be a personal trainer, a nutritionist. What's body work? You could be a surgeon. Man, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
And so I love supporting those who support the masses, and you are one of those people.
That's a lie, right? Without even knowing this lady, if you love to support those that support the masses, you would have led with value. You would have created a product, service, or information that's valuable to those people that serve the masses, and then you would market it to them in a way that they understand and recognize the value. And instead, you just sent a voice message. That's what you did. This shows laziness. This shows selfishness. This shows disrespect. This shows I'm in a hard bind. I need help without considering the other person at all. Let me just holler at them. All right, let me just holler at them. All right. Let me just see what I could do. All right. Let me just see what I could do.
That will be awesome. One of the services that I offer is body work.
I
And
had to
so
run
I
that back.
love supporting those who support the masses.
Lie.
And you are one of those people. So you have
Truth.
been on my list of people that I want to give that service to.
That might be.
Um, so it can be an exchange of that. I don't know. You just let me know how it can be a win-win, and if you can support me urgently through this part of my
That sound like you done said urgent too many times to me.
life, that would be amazing.
I bet it would.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate you.
You welcome.
And I always trust that things happen in divine order.
They
So,
did.
however this lands is
It lands on being a podcast episode on the Income Autopilot podcast. That's how it landed.
how it lands. And I'm grateful for whichever way it lands.
Me too.
May you be having a wonderful AM. Peace. Thank you.
Okay, man, that was bad. That was bad. All right, what can we learn? What can we learn? Right? What can we learn? Don't don't you ever contact anybody like that. Don't even contact your family members and friends like that, right? Let me tell you how this could have went way better, right? So, first things first, if you're going to ask anybody for anything, I don't care if this is a bank, a private lender, a social media influencer, a family member, a friend, go find out what they care about before you tell them what you care about. Because to be honest, besides your immediate family members and friends that love you the most, and sometimes they don't even feel this way, nobody cares what you care about, right? So, first thing you need to do, and I like to write this down, just keeps me on track. Find out what they care about. All right. If it's a bank, they might care about, do you have a good debt to income ratio? Do you have a good income? What's your credit score? Right? Private money lender. What's your collateral? Do you have any experience doing that? Right? So, first and foremost, find out what that person cares about. Like, just to make it visual, I have recently been transparent that I purchased an AI business. Right? I purchased an AI business from a developer in India, the country, not Irie. So I purchased an AI business. I believe, may not be right, time will tell if I'm right. I believe that artificial intelligence will become another means where successful businesses will be built on the back of them. So, for example, you can build a successful media company on the back of Facebook. Country Wayne, as of this recording, reportedly does over $3 million a month from Facebook. He also has a YouTube channel and Instagram account, and all these other social media platforms. So you can build a successful media company on the back of social media. You don't need to go to Hollywood anymore, right? You can build a successful e-commerce business on the back of Amazon.com. You don't need to get a warehouse and go to China and negotiate with manufacturers, or even in the United States, go domestically make all of these arrangements and have all of this money that maybe our ancestors or our predecessors needed to be successful, right? So I believe that AI is going to be another uh landscape, if you will, where you'll be able to go there and make money off of AI. You'll build a business on top of pre-existing AI technology with a use case that is unconventional, or maybe it is conventional, but you simplify it, right? People were selling online before Amazon. Amazon made it convenient for other people to sell online. People like know and trust Amazon, you could do it, right? People were sharing what they know before social media, but social media gave a platform that could bring a lot of people together. So now you don't gotta try to get everybody to know you exist and come to your platform, or try to, make it on TV or something, right? So uh if you can't tell, I'm passionate about AI. I talk about AI a lot on all of my social media. If this person would have just checked out my most recent Instagram post, they could have quickly identified that um I'm interested in AI, and I recently acquired an AI business because that's what I've been talking about all the time, right? So they could have found out what they cared about too, right? So after you find out what they care about, find out how you can help them get what they want. So one, find out what they care about. Two, figure out how you can help them get something they already want. I like the technology of the AI company that I bought, which is why I bought the company. I don't like the use case. So I don't like how they're using the technology. I just like the technology. So I bought the company. I got it at what I feel to be such a great price that I could purchase the company, um, repurpose the technology, and still, have a great investment with a lot of upside, right? So that's why I did what I did. And I'm transparent about that as well too. So you don't have to twist my arm for me to tell you that, just as freely and easily as I said in this podcast. I've also said it on my main YouTube channel and Instagram lives, and pretty much anywhere. If you would have took the time to not be selfish and just think about what you want out of the situation, but actually go see what can I do to leave with value. So okay, so let's say that you find out that I bought an AI business, and I want to repurpose the tech for a better use case, right? That's all you know so far, right? Guess what you could have did? Instead of sending me 4 minutes of what you want, you could have reached out, same median, same way I got this text, I would have got any text. Could have sent a voice message. And instead of sending a link to your Instagram account, you could have sent a flyer, or any kind of Instagram or Canva made flyer. Not Instagram. I'm saying Instagram because that's what they sent. But you could have made a graphic, a AI graphic that just listed out all of the popular AI tools, and a professional photo or headshot of you in it, with all of the main AI platforms around it. And then if you wanted to send out an audio message, you could. And the audio message could have, in however you wanted to word it, is fine. But the essence of the audio message should have been 15 seconds or less. And I'm going to actually time myself to make sure that I can do this as well. It should have said, "Hey, listen, JT, I've been following you for a while. I really enjoy your social media content. And I understand that you recently acquired an AI business. I'm an AI expert. If there's anything that I can do to help you for absolutely free, I would love to do it." Time. That's been 15 seconds on the dot when I said time. All right. So in 15 seconds, you could have sent a graphic and a short clip, not a 4 minute plea. 15 seconds, boom, graphic, boom, said nothing, right? You still ain't even gave me your name if you didn't want to give names yet. But bump who you are. Hey, look, I just appreciate you if you wanted to, and just establish yourself as I am somebody that knows what you do, right? Whether you genuinely appreciate me or not, but it establishes that you know who I am, you know what I do. You at least took the time to go figure it out. And then you said, "Hey, if there's anything I could do, what? For free," right? Guess what? If I didn't respond, because this is the only response I'm going to do to the message that was sent. So if they see this, this is my response. But if I didn't respond directly, just like I'm not going to directly respond via the text message here, you would have known it's probably not the person that I should try to ask for money or help with, right? If I research what they care about and I approach them asking if I could help them get what they already want for free, and they didn't bite on it, it's probably something about my pitch, probably something about me. Maybe they already got somebody, whatever it is. barking up the wrong tree, right? Barking up the wrong tree didn't take me 4 minutes and sending an Instagram account to do it. All right, so that's what I would have did. Now, being real, knowing me at this stage in the game, and to be real with you, I can already see as I grow as an entrepreneur, it would be harder to do. So you kind of got to know what level the person is at. So I got a 6-person full-time team, and I will eventually outsource um taking these messages. But right now, I'm taking all of the messages. All right. One, because it allows me to kind of gauge um what's the best use case of these messages. And for those of you all that are on visual platforms, I want you to be able to see my text number. So let me put my laptop up so you can see my number. All right, so that's the same number that she texted this audio clip to. If you want to get my reaction to a clip, you could text you a voice clip or anything, right? Just some words to that same number that you see on the screen as well. 202-601-9347. For those of y'all that are listening to this, 202-601-9347 is the number, right? So that should have been it. Now, knowing me though, back to it. Um, Probably would have reached out and said, "Hey, man, hey, that's great. Um, what do you know how to do?" Right? Oh yeah, guess what they would have said? They would have listed out the same AI tools that was in the graphic that they sent me. Hey, yeah, I've been in it for a few years now. You know what I mean? I'm familiar with all of these and I'm always learning more. Guess what you do if you don't know what AI tools are out there? You Google them, right? You Google them. All right. Now, up until this, now, of course, it would be great if you were telling the truth, but I'm coming from the angle assuming this lady didn't even know, right? So if she would have just done a little research and approached me in a way that added value to me, and also to let you know, I had a meeting with a company that was worth $600 million, and they brought us in to try to figure out how to go to $1 billion, right? The only reason we didn't partner with them is because my business partner at the time had a mental breakdown, but I'm giving you guys a blueprint that works short of a mental breakdown, right? So don't think this is just fluff, all right? This is how it works in the real world. All right, find out what they care about, find out how you can help them get what they want for free. All right. The more desperate you are, the more freely you need to give. If you starving, go feed somebody else. No, that sounds counterproductive, but that's how it works in the business world. All right. So find out what they care about. Knowing me, I would have reached out, asked them what they do. They would say, "Yeah, I'm familiar with all of these, and I'm staying up to date with it. Do you mind sharing with me what technology yours is built on?" Okay, mine is built on and then just whatever it is. Mine's built on Claude. Mine's built on OpenAI, Dolly, or ChatGPT, or it's built on Murph, or it's built on whatever, right? So it's primarily built on ChatGPT is super popular right now. If you don't know what that is, you should have it. So let's use ChatGPT as an example. So mine's built primarily on ChatGPT. All right, cool. Do you mind sending me a link to the website and letting me know what you don't like about it, kind of what you want done to it? If I could do it for free, man, hey, I appreciate, I got so much value from your content in the past. Like, if I could help it for free, if you're not opposed to it, no pressure, man, I might can even help you do this for free. Right? Boom. Okay. I would have sent them the link. Again, I'm a more accessible entrepreneur than most. And like I said, I won't even be this accessible in the future. That doesn't mean that I'll be unreachable. That just means that there'll be an added step where you have to say something that warrants my assistant that receives this message to forward it to me. But you knowing what I value and approaching me on that tip does give you a greater incentive of making it through than somebody that doesn't, right? But in keeping with this example, all right, boom, it's built on Chat GPT. Here's a link to the site. They're using it for this purpose. I rather it do this. I feel like the same technology that does that can easily do this. They just were looking left when they should have looked right, right? So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, great. Um, I don't I don't want you to send me your email address or your passwords. Um, do you have a tool or a way that I can access it um to make the changes. Boom. Right? Guess what? All of the changes you want to make are Googleable, or you can hire a freelancer from chat, not from chat. You could hire a chat GPT freelancer on Fiverr, Upwork, or freelancer.com. Right? Because the lady obviously not $0 broke. She got a phone, right? And she got to be staying somewhere, and she got to be eating something. So even if she living off of credit cards or something, on Fiverr is very inexpensive, and this is actually an investment, which is assuming she got this far, she didn't do a whole lot of that in the last 20 years, at least not a whole lot of wise ones, right? So moving on, right? Moving on. Been talking so much, my lips starting to crack, right? Like concrete. All right. Shout out to CarMax. If you want to sponsor an episode, holla at your boy. All right. Um, Not just CarMax, but anybody, right? Text the numbers, right? Um, Boom. Fast forward, getting to it. Let's say they were able to help me get my AI business up and running. Guess what you now have? You now have a partner for the foreseeable future, if not for life. If you help me take an AI business that I purchased, that's just, of course, relative now. In the future, it'll already been done. But finding out what I wanted, find out what I care about, help me get that result, right? Does it have to be for free? If you're desperate, it does. If it's urgent, it does, right? Because that's the fastest way to build a relationship. Boom. After doing that, if you're saying, hey, listen, I've been in entrepreneurship 20 years. JT, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've been struggling trying to figure it out. But my real passion is in body work, right? Whatever that means. All right. So I am interested in AI. That's why I was able to assist you with your AI problem. But my real passion is in body work. And man, I'm genuinely I can't financially afford to pay for your mentorship right now. But if you can ever like just give me some advice or anything like that, no pressure, you would have evoked from me in this situation. This is not 100% blueprint. Understand the essence of it, and you'll understand how to do this, not verbatim. But you would have, from me, evoked the law of reciprocity, where I would have been like, heck yeah, can we book a Zoom call? And guess what? Instead of you getting my program that takes on average 5 days for people to go through it and get the sauce in and implementing it, we would have made a tailor-made blueprint on a Zoom call, right? In 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, however long it took. Because you gave me value, I would have found a day where I would have cleared my schedule and we would have jumped on Zoom and you would have gotten all of the information you needed, right? Would I have given you any liquid capital? Mm, it really just depends on how good and how fast you did the assignment and how well you were at positioning your value. It wouldn't have been enough for you to get a car because your car got repossessed, just being honest with you. But you could have negotiated a way for us to generate money together, just being realistic and thinking on this on the spot, without having any preconceived notions. What you might have done, this is most likely what would have happened, not me digging in my pocket and giving you money, but us generating money together and you getting a portion of that. All right. Um, Only because this is after I pretty much condensed down my mentorship from 5 days to less than 1 day. So you got an entire blueprint that can allow you to make 7 figures or more. So I'm not going to give you that and dig in my pocket and give you money. And because you said you were going to do it for free, then if you turn around and ask for money, now I think you're a liar and then I wouldn't do business with you. So this definitely, if your result was to get mentorship and to get money in your pocket, you could have gotten it by leading with value, helping me get something that I wanted in the moment, and then negotiating a way where instead of my bank account balance being impacted, how can we create greater value together and then split that greater value? That is how you should have went about this. That is how to ask rich people for money in a way that they feel stupid saying no. Figure out what they want, what they care about, find out how you can help them get what they want in a way that is convenient, efficient, because I don't want it free and it's trash and I got to pay somebody to fix it. So convenient, yes. Efficient, yes. I want it to actually be good, worth something, right? And fast because we value our time the most, right? So you would have led with value, may or may not would have cost you anything, either time, money, or both, but it would have been a modest investment. It would have been um less than what it cost me the way that you're asking for it. And it would have gotten you for sure. My business partners, if we did a partnership, you definitely would have made enough money to get a newer version of whatever car that just got repossessed. And probably even pay some money to get that other car paid off and off your record for repossession or however it works. I don't know. My repossession was so long ago, I don't even remember how it went down, right? But my BMW went gone. Bye bye BMW. Yeah. Find out what they care about. Find out how you can help them get it. Once you help them get it, right? Find out how you can bring more value to them because you already proved yourself for free. You already earned to a certain degree their like, know, and trust. How can you take it to the next level? Do that consistently. And sometimes you got to pitch more than one person to get a yes. All right. Hope this makes sense to you. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Income Autopilot podcast. And hey, feel free to disagree, agree. This is probably our most controversial episode yet, but it won't be the most controversial episode ever. So talk to me, family. All right. Hey, what would you have done in this situation? Give me feedback. Be sure to stream us on all major podcast platforms. And until next time, I'm your favorite country cousin, JT. This has been the Income Autopilot podcast. This is the show that teaches you to enjoy your life while money works for you. All right, see you in the next one. Peace. If I can do it, you can do it. Keep God first, and you'll reach all your financial